We are back.
We are back
after a 2-week slumber, much like Rip Van Winkle. We got some well-needed beauty sleep, well-needed for me. James, you always look like a supermodel. We are back in action.
Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chattanooga FC pregame live show presented by Workshop. I am Charlie Milburn.
And I'm James Dawson. And tonight we have the honor, the privilege to sit down with Coach Peter Fuller. I'm looking forward to this one all year. We're going to take a look back on the 2020 season. We're going to talk about what's coming up at home for our second to last home game. I don't even want to say that out loud. We're playing the Metro Louis FC.
That's right. That's right. Upstart team from MPSL. So I'm excited to see what they have to offer tomorrow, and could not be more excited to talk to Coach Fuller about just about this year. I mean, it's been a crazy year. I think that's safe to say. First season going into NISO, expectations there. Then combined with, of course, the global pandemic that's been hitting us all, and how the team has recovered from that, the NISA run, so much to talk about. Just can't wait. We'll get to it really quickly. But first, of course, we have to thank our sponsors, Vibrant Meals, for providing those delicious meals that we all know and love, and the home of sports in Chattanooga radio, ESPN Radio 105.1. Thank you so much to both of those sponsors for their continued support.
So tonight we are joined by Coach Peter Fuller, the coach of the Chattanooga FC. We're going to talk a little bit about the 2020 season, a little bit about tomorrow night's match that we're going to be hosting, and what lies on the road ahead. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Coach Peter Fuller.
Hi, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing very well.
How are you?
I'm good. I actually, I've just left dinner with Coach Bill Elliott and our wives to come and spend some quality time with you guys. I was looking forward to this tonight.
Oh my gosh, we are so honored.
No, I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
We have been looking forward so much for you to join us here. And just for folks that don't know, Coach Fuller has a storied career. Before joining CFC, you were the coach of the University of Mobile. And we've actually heard players that have been on our show mention that, name it, say, hey, I met Coach Fuller at Mobile. And then you were at the Philadelphia Union, and then the New England Revolution, and others. So we kind of want to give a full context here and go back to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you and where you're from and how you got going with soccer.
I'll try and give you the Cliff Notes. I grew up in a little town outside of Boston, Sudbury, Massachusetts. My dad was a professional baseball player and a great athlete. As most kids that have a dad that spends time with them and is a wonderful role model, I wanted to be an athlete as well. I played pretty much everything under the sun, and I first kicked a soccer ball when I was 12 years old in junior high school, and my first real interaction with soccer, I grew up in a town and went to a high school of about 2,500, and we had soccer actually before we ever had football. So my dad didn't want me to play football. He felt like, I was a wisp of a kid, so he was doing me a favor. But I played. I went out for JV soccer my freshman year in high school. And my very first time I touched the ball, and remember, I grew up in hockey country, so my heroes were guys like Bobby Orr. And so the first time I touched the ball, I carried it. I kind of looked at playing defense as playing defense in hockey. So I just carried the ball. I went through about 7 guys and passed it off to somebody, and they scored. And the next thing I know, somebody ran out and was taking me off. So I didn't know what was going on. So I just went to the sideline and I started collecting my stuff because I assumed I'd done something wrong and it was time to go home. So I started picking my gear up, and one of the coaches came over and said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going home." I said, you guys took me out. I was assuming I got cut. And he was like, no, stay. We're going to pick you. So that was my first interaction with soccer at an organized level, and it was pretty neat. So I had a good career in high school. Went on and played college. Was a part of the Olympic pool for the 1980 Olympic team. The 80 Olympics were the ones that Jimmy Carter actually pulled the plug on, so we weren't able to go to because of COVID. So, or not because of COVID, because of the Russians invading Afghanistan. So that was pretty. It was a pretty traumatic moment, and ended up having a good college career. Went and played in the old major indoor soccer league for Tacoma Stars. Bounced around to a few different teams, both outdoor and indoor, and ended up. I always swore I never wanted to be a coach and never wanted to be in soccer full time. And one of my buddies begged me to go out while I was playing in Tacoma. He was coaching at a junior college as an assistant. He said, "I want you to come out and work with our defense." And I kept blowing him off. And finally I went out and I enjoyed it. I liked it. The next day he asked me to go back, and I went back, and I found out he wasn't going to be able to be there. So long story short, the head coach had the flu. So I got there and I had 30 players, a bunch of soccer balls and cones, and I was by myself. And so I set up a few exercises, things that I had done before, and just thought I'm gonna try and fake it. And after 15 minutes, I knew what I wanted to do the rest of my life. So and after that, I couldn't get enough material. I couldn't watch enough videos. I couldn't be around enough coaches, players that had played at a really high level. I did everything that I possibly could do to gain whatever I could in terms of honing my craft and becoming a professional coach. And so lots of years in college, lots of years of working in the Olympic development program, working with our national teams program at the youth levels and all of that. And I've loved every minute of it. And honestly, for me, every day I walk into work, I consider, when I turn the key to my office, I consider it an absolute privilege to do what I do. And it's not a right. And I love it today, just like I loved it. The first day I started coaching, and I'm a lucky person. And I always tell our players, we're the luckiest people in the world. We make our living at a kid's game, and it's a privilege to do it, and it's not a right. And so I'm here in Chattanooga. Thank God for Bill Elliott and giving me the opportunity to come in and work with him. And I love it. I love being here. I love the city. I love the club. And I'm so appreciative to you guys. You mentioned ESPN as one of your sponsors. They've been so good to us through the COVID thing. Every week, having somebody on from the club and keeping us relevant, keeping us in the mix. And there's so many of you guys in the media that honestly, we really owe a debt of gratitude to, because you guys have kept us out there and kept us relevant, and it's huge.
Well, that's very cool, and your love of the game and your gratitude for just being able to do that every day as your profession, it shows. I mean, anyone who is who's come in contact with you or has even seen you on the pitch and paid attention can tell that your heart and soul kind of bleeds through what you do, from every interaction, from the smallest ball runner all the way up to the head of NISA. So it shows that you love what you do. And you mentioned being in Chattanooga. Leads us to my next question. How walk us through the process of what actually happened that drew you to Chattanooga FC and how you landed here.
It's a good question. And again, I'll try and give you the cliff notes as best as I can. But I was working for a gentleman in Florida, Tim Dorn, who had hired me away from Philadelphia Union to come down and start what he hoped would be a USL championship franchise in West Palm Beach. And in conjunction with that, the starting portion of it was to start a youth club, and then a PDL and an NPSL franchise, all underneath his umbrella, Global Sports Group. So I went down there in the fall of 2015 and started those projects. Moved my wife and my son down with me. Long and short of it is, we got everything off the ground. I loved what I did. My son is an ice hockey player, and a good one. And so he was 16 and was playing for one of the top teams in Florida. But in Florida, in ice hockey, once you reach the age of 16, you basically now have to move up to U18s, and there was no real U18s for him. So being from the Northeast, I had a couple of connections. I got him into an elite camp at Boston University. Long and short of it is, one of the teams in the East Coast Hockey League, the junior portion of it, wanted to sign him. And it was in a place called Laconia, New Hampshire. My dad was living 40 minutes away. So it made sense to move the family up there. My wife was still working in Boston. She teaches there at a university. She's the head of the health and physical education department. So I basically my family had moved around with me everywhere that I had gone, and it was time for me, I felt, to do something for the family. So I went in and resigned my position, and my boss, Tim, said, "You're not resigning. I'm not going to let you resign. We'll let you go up and do everything remotely from New Hampshire." So long and short of it is, from the fall of 2016 to the fall of 2018, I was living up there and working for him full time. Got a text from him in October, I believe it was, of 2018, telling me, "Look, I'm getting out of the soccer business. I've decided to go into some other things, and you'll be paid through December, and then you're done. And appreciate your work," and all of that. It wasn't a week later, I got a call from Bill Elliott, who said, "Look, we're thinking about going professional with the club, and I don't feel like it's something I can do. I don't feel like I can leave West Florida. It's been great when it's been a part-time gig, but I just don't feel like it's something I can do right now. Would you be interested in coming in with me and co-coaching the NPSL portion, and then over when we become professional?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I would, for sure. I mean, that would be great." And so I came in, met Sheldon Grizzle, met the board, all of that, really liked it. Moved up here, moved to Chattanooga in full-time March of 2019. Here I am. So it's been great. It's been great. And I love working with Bill. He and I are old friends. I have loads of acquaintances in the game of soccer, but I have very few friends, and Bill's my friend. And so I'm glad that we've been able to, continue what he started here in his time, in his 8 years as the head coach. And to be honest with you, it's really important as the of the it's important that people know that I only owe a gratitude to him, but I want us to continue on the tradition of excellence and doing it the right way that he did when he was here as the head coach. So I can't thank him enough, and I'm incredibly happy to be here.
So, Coach Fuller, I share some Massachusetts roots with my family being from the New Bedford, Fairhaven area. So I appreciate the accent and all the videos that I hear.
Sure.
Yeah. So this year was different than
I've never
every
lost
year.
it.
No, keep it with you. This year it's different than any year you've ever coached. I'm just wondering if you can talk us through what it was like on your end, having the season delayed, having just everything that's come with COVID as a coach, from the standpoint of the focus of the players to your own resolve and the club's resolve. What's that impact been like this year? We may have lost him. Nope.
Elizabeth. And guys, I'm having a tough time hearing you. I'm going to answer what I think you asked me, and I think it was about COVID and the impact that it's had on the club. Yeah. I mean, it's been tough for us. It's been tough for everybody. I talked to guys that I know in MLS and the USL Championship. It's been tough on everybody. The one thing to say, I'm going to give some credit to a few different people. I'm going to start with our players. When everything hit, scattered away, most of them stayed here. Every guy was on it every day, and I just listening to them, listening to their reactions about things and how everything was going on, the questions, all of that. They were tough, they were resilient, and they stuck together. And when we got back together in June, it made it so much easier for us because it was a bunch of friends coming back together, not a bunch of former teammates. So it makes a difference. The second group that deserves the most credit is our club. One of the things that our club decided early on in this whole process, and it starts with the board all the way through Jeremy Allenbaugh, all the way down, is that the players were not going to suffer through this in terms of losing their pay or losing their housing or any of those kinds of things. The players were going to be taken care of. And it's proud for a club that because here's the thing, guys, always remember this. Look, I love coaching. I'm a good coach. Jeremy's an excellent executive director. Jordan Mathias, Bill's a great technical director. Everything else. What's the one thing you can't go without if you're going to a professional club? You got to have players. And the bottom line is the players need to be taken care of. And for me, the players are the most important commodity in what we do. And I'm proud that our club never even batted an eye about thinking about paying guys and making sure that guys get taken care of. And I appreciate it that they were willing to do that, because that is what I believe. But the second thing is, I think the players appreciated it, because the players talk and they know what's going on at other clubs, and they know people aren't getting paid. They know contracts are being terminated, and the bottom line is, we had no revenue coming in. I mean, we got very little revenue come in, but at the end of the day, our club has been first class about how they've handled this entire situation. And it made it so easy and so seamless when we got back there in June and started back going. It made it so easy for us to get back to training and everything else. And I really believe it's one of the reasons we had the success that during the Independence Cup as well as the season.
In terms of the roster, we've had some familiar faces. We've got some legends that have returned, and quite a few new guys though. So I'm curious, at this level of play, how does the recruiting process go? How does the tryout process go? What goes into that to try to get the best possible players that you can on the pitch? You may miss me.
I can take this one.
Apologize. I think you're asking about the Rickers end.
We might be losing you, Coach. He doesn't want to reveal his secrets, James. I understand that.
Look, recruiting in the professional level.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Looks like we're having a little video interference here.
So, in terms of the recruiting process, call you back. Let me try and call you back.
So during the downtime, before we jump back, I want to talk about the hype video that was out during the NISA Cup that Coach Fuller's pep talk overdubbed.
Oh,
you want to talk about like goosebumps, basically saying we're not out to have fun. You've got a job to do. And that kind of focus, that kind of mentality, we think about going from the minors and playing semi-pro up into professional level, having Bill Elliott say, hey, I've got my plate full with what I'm doing here. I don't know if I can do both at that level. And then we have Peter Fuller coming in saying, give it to me. Let's go. Through all of the ups and downs of this season, I couldn't have imagined being able to do it without a coach like that just steel resolve.
In that video, and if you go for anyone who hasn't seen it, you can go to our Instagram page. It's probably the easiest way to get it, and go to our page and you'll see the video there. You can tell, the things that he's talking to us about today, you can see that in that video. Don't take anything for granted. You've had your fun. Now it's the time to work, and now is the time to do what you're supposed to do, and taking it seriously. It amazes me every time that I come in contact with Coach Fuller, the professionalism, but at the same time, the kindness, the generosity, and just the heart that he puts into the team, and puts into literally every interaction that I've seen him interact with people with, has just been really inspiring. And but that video, I wanted to get out like a pen and paper and just write down like quote after quote after quote. I need a new back tattoo, James. I was trying to get some of Fuller's wisdom there.
Tag Coach Fuller on it. One of the parts of his story that I thought was especially impactful, the 1980s Olympics, there's a lot of folks that's something that was detrimental to their career, that was detrimental to it was a huge, that was going to be my moment. And just from hearing his account, it was something that happened, it rolled off, and he kept going. And I think that's very indicative of his coaching style and in general the team's attitude this season. Think about COVID. It's not the president canceling the Olympics. It's an international pandemic
Right.
saying you got to stop. And here we have
canceling everything with no sense of when things are going to get back to normal. No, you're right.
coach
I think
stay focused.
Yeah, and instilling that instinct and that virtue is certainly not easy. It's not easy for any of us. It's certainly not easy when you consider that a lot of these guys are in their early 20s, far away from home. Maybe for some of them it's their first professional gig, and everything around them gets shut down. Everything they know is getting turned upside down. And for coach to point out the fact that the players were part of the reason for the success and how they were able to keep each other up. I mean, that's just wild. I mean, it's so great.
And a massive testament to the club for not jeopardizing any of these players' financial stability and not jeopardizing these players. When you let stress like that seep in, that affects the game. It feels like a month, but I guess it's only been a few weeks since the 2020 NISA Fall tournament. I know. If you missed it, Chattanooga made it to the semifinals. We defeated the LA Force. We drew against the Cosmos after beating them not too long before. And we drew against Cal United. And then we ended up losing a very, very tough match versus the Oakland Roots. The Roots, they made it to the finals where they fell to our frenemies, Detroit City FC. Now, what's interesting about this is Detroit City FC had a really bad tournament and they won it, and good for them. I mean, look, if everybody's at your house, you better hope you clean up, and they did in spite of not good group play. That match in the semifinals versus the Roots, though, we saw Marcano hit an overhead bicycle kick, and I don't know if any of the rest of the game matters, honestly.
We shouldn't talk about anything else really about that game. Just talk about the bicycle kick. Yeah, incredible. And it was his first goal, I believe, as a professional as well. So why not just put a little extra sauce on it and just go Ibrahimovic style, just bicycle kick, perfect setup, perfect play coming into him. And I was actually watching that play. It was on Twitter. I think Nisa may have retweeted it. Because it's that spectacular, and the passing that led up to that is incredible. The passing from Juanito to Bement to over to him.
Yes,
the ball travels. I think 60 or 70 yards. That might be a little hyperbolic, but why not when you're talking about something so great? Doesn't touch the ground. It just bounces from player to player and he hits it perfectly. It was such a sight to see. I feel like, of course, credit to our least favorite city in Canada, Detroit City, for their victory. I think you can attribute their success to getting hot at the right time and staying healthy. And I think the second part of that phrase is what really killed us. I think Coach coached a masterclass in the group play to get us into the tournament. The thing that he could not coach was the health of the players. And I think that our too many guys were being put in positions that they were not used to playing in, and they did so admirably. But I think that it just ran out for them. And we got that crazy goal where Reddington kicked it and it went right into the Roots striker and bounced back in for a goal. I mean,
it's nonsensical.
9.5 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. Alec Reddington, that will never happen to get him again in his soccer career.
No.
So it was. It's a great bicycle kick.
It was a great bicycle kick, and that's all we're going to remember about that tournament. We had a phenomenal bicycle kick. I want to say Spielman played out of his mind every single game.
He did.
I tweeted at him. He took a striker to the sideline, and he went for a big clearance and pulled a Cruyff. And I'm pretty sure the dude ended up out of bounds. It was a good tournament, capped off by a worldie. Which Chattanooga's been producing as of late. Clayton Adams had one, Marcano had one. Can't wait to see who gets one tomorrow.
Well, and of course, I mean, yeah, let's talk about that. So tomorrow's match, we're going to be playing against Metro Louisville FC. This is going to be one of 2 postseason friendlies that are going to be played here at home. We're going to be allowing a limited number of fans into the stadium. So if you have not gotten tickets yet, you can email us at tickets@chattanooga.fc.com. Go through our normal process of getting your tickets. Make sure you get them because there are not ticket offices at the stadium. You need to have your ticket on your phone or print it out at home and bring it in. There's not going to be a ticket booth there. Metro Louisville is a new team, of course, where everyone is familiar with the team that Niall McCabe plays for, also in Louisville, the USL team. So this is a new team with Louisville. They're going to be joining the NPSL. I believe they did join the NPSL this year as an expansion team. They're going to be in the Southeastern Conference of the NPSL, so they're going to see a lot of our banners hanging in the rafters, so to speak. So it's going to be exciting to see what they have to offer. If you saw Coach Fuller's keys to the game earlier on today, he said that he is fully anticipating playing every single member of the 18-man roster. So we're going to see a lot of interaction. It's going to be great for Haygood Farms, our substitution spot.
Right.
They're going to get a lot of love tomorrow, but it's going to be great. I think really from hearing Jeremy Allenbaugh and Owen and Sean Burney, our amazing producer on the show, talk. The next 2 matches are going to be a celebration of Chattanooga, a celebration of soccer. And I mean, if you look at the weather tomorrow, it's going to be sunny, 66 degrees.
It will not rain.
It will not rain. We're going to get one of those iconic sunset pictures over Finley, hopefully with double-digit score on our end. It's just going to be a great night. Any sort of thoughts or anything you're looking forward to about tomorrow?
It really is. I feel like we've longed for a longer season. We feel like we've missed games over the summer. And here tomorrow night, for the first time for CFC, we're going to have a late October evening game with perfect weather, ideal conditions. I can't wait. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And I just want to let folks know, Bantam and Biddy, who feeds our team, a lot of the times, they're going to be offering 15% off. And this is going to be for food and for non-alcoholic beverages, just for showing up in your CFC gear.
Yeah.
So Bantam and Biddy, which is right off Market Street, it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Maybe before the game, you swing by, grab a bite to eat at a discount just for being a fan of the best team in Chattanooga. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I might have to go by.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go buy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They serve the full gamut. Why not? You're going to be rocking your Chattanooga FC gear anyway.
Undoubtedly.
So step in and get 15% off. And then following tomorrow's match, there's going to be one more game in 2020 for the boys in blue. Again, it's going to be a reduced capacity game. It's going to be October 24th, so next Saturday, against Maryland Bobcats. So Maryland Bobcats, that is a Maryland Bobcats FC. They are a new expansion team into NISA. So a testament of the growth of NISA, and kudos to them for being able to expand the league in the middle of a global pandemic. Not something that's easy to say, but it's going to be great to see them. They have a very loyal fan base. They're well known in the Maryland, DC area. So it's going to be cool to see them come down and play, see what they have to offer. And, one of the things from doing a little bit of research on the club, apparently they win championships everywhere they go. So at every rung of the ladder moving up, they've managed to have a title of some way, shape, or form. So it's going to be exciting to see what they have to offer.
Well, I'll tell you, I have some friends that played at Maryland. It is a soccer powerhouse in the ACC, so I can only imagine what kind of talent they're churning out just right there. Wow. So 2 great matches is what it sounds like. It sounds like we got one tomorrow, and then we're gonna have one coming up on the 24th. Let's not miss either of these guys. So that's all we've got for tonight. Again, we play tomorrow night. Go to cfctix.com to pick up your tickets. If you show up and you forgot, you have a smartphone. You can do it. It's a piece of cake. You get a QR code. It'll assign you seats, you, your friends, your family. Go in there, get some food, get a drink, settle down, bring your mask. Everyone's going to be wearing a mask, so this is going to be a safe environment for everyone to enjoy. And if you can't make it out, make sure to watch the live stream. Of course, we'll be live streaming this game. Look to all your normal places to find that link. Just go to CFC or ChattanoogaFC.com or check any of our social channels. We're going to have those up. And I just want to say, in spite of interruptions and technical difficulties, one of my favorite interviews we've ever done on this show. I'm going to sign off here, Charlie. I'm James Dawson.
I'm Charlie Milburn. Thank you so much to Coach Fuller. Thank you, James. Thank you, Sean. We'll see you tomorrow at Finley Stadium. Go CFC.
Go CFC.